I think having more than one child will be helpful, because if one of the things we're doing as parents is we're doing too much, if I now have 2 or 3 or 4 children, I can't do everything for all 4 children. I have to let them solve their own problems sometimes. If you have only 1 child, 2 parents, and 4 grandparents, the child might not ever have to solve his or her own problems. So sometimes having that second child simply means they have to learn on their own a little bit more. As I said before, one of my favorite bits of advice is to try to give your children a mental framework that assumes that they are wise and capable. And I'll give you an example that my mom did with me, and we did with all 4 of our children. And I think this is very clever. When I was about 6 years old, she says, "Steve, I'm going to tell you a secret." "Okay, Mommy, tell me the secret." There are 3 kinds of people in this world. Some people will make a mistake, and they'll make it over again, over and over, and they'll never learn. And they're not very smart. We feel sorry for those people. "Okay, Mommy, there's a second group of people. And every time they make a mistake, they learn from it. And they'll never make that mistake again. We call those smart people." "Okay, Mommy, but there's a third group, and they're very, very rare. They're the people who can see the mistakes that other people make and then not make them." So when you hear that, as a 6-year-old, all you want is to be in that third group. Right? Does that make sense? And she would repeat something like this about every year to me. So from then on, whenever there was something she thought I shouldn't do, she did not have to say, "Don't do this." She didn't have to say, "Don't smoke." She would say, "Oh, look at that person smoking. He obviously hasn't learned how dangerous that is." So she was never saying, "Don't do this, don't do that." Because when you're a teenager, you want to rebel, right? You want to fight back. What she was able to do was give me advice without giving me advice. And I came to my own conclusions about the things I wanted to do. And when I applied that same approach to my own children, and for that matter, our campers at our camp, I find that they become very good decision makers because they're not rebelling, they're thinking. One of the things we did in my family, as I said, every one of our children will do 1 sport, 1 extracurricular. It could be music or arts or volunteering, and I want them to work hard on their school. And they get to decide how to allocate that time. And because I know when they go to college, they're going to have to do this on their own. Now, I will give them some advice. You know, really smart people often put extra effort into the first 3 weeks of school because they will get a reputation with the teachers as being good students. So you don't want to fall behind. But I'm not telling them they should do that. I'm just saying, if you want to save time later, this might be a good strategy now, but do whatever you want to do. I think that we also need to schedule in downtime. I think if your child is busy every moment of his or her waking day, you're missing time for them to consolidate their thoughts. There's a lot of research that says that idle time enables creativity to happen. More parenting is not always better. We can over-parent. In other words, back to the example I gave before, if your daughter and my daughter get in a fight and we get involved, we're over-parenting. They should figure it out themselves. One of the goals my wife and I had is we wanted all of our children to be able to travel abroad alone before they went to college. And my 3 that are in college right now, every one of them spent at least 2 weeks, and in 2 cases, 3 months and 4 months in Europe by themselves before they entered a college classroom. Because I wanted them to be citizens of the world. And if I made every decision for them, they wouldn't be able to do that.